More on this with retired General Jack Keane. He's a Fox News strategic analyst and the best guest we could have on this. There are reports that there's a possibility that this IRGC commander, Vahidi, is possibly making, well, at least calling some shots at least. He's the senior most commander there, the most influential position in the regime. He served as a Quds Force commander from 88 to 97. I'm sure you probably know his name. And this from an Iran report Saturday night that from your Institute for the Study of War. The IRGC's consolidation of control over Iranian decision-making indicates that the Iranian political officials currently negotiating with the U.S. do not have the authority to independently determine Iran's negotiating position. And if that's the case, what happens to these talks when and if the vice president gets there?
Well, I think you're reporting on something I'm familiar with, obviously because I have an association with the Institute of the Study of War. And that's our best sources of revealing that information. And what we're happening here, we shouldn't be surprised. We had the supreme leader killed, and his son has taken over, but clearly he's got serious injuries, and he has not been able to demonstrate that he is really in charge, except for some message trafficking that's going out there. So there's a leadership vacuum for sure, and it's being filled by the IRGC leadership. And it's not so surprising. Why? Because they have the guns. And that's the reality of what has taken place here. They own the force mechanism inside of Iran. And they're forcing the political people, who are also hardliners, just as much as Vahidi is, to conform to his will. And that's the reality of taking place. And what's helping Vahidi in his power grab here is the head of the National Security Council, Zolgadar, is supporting him. And also Gallup, who comes out of the speakership of their parliament, is also bending to his will. The foreign minister is sidelined, and although he's in the deals, he's not really relevant other than the fact that he has relationships with our negotiating team, and he's a useful tool for them. I suspect they are going to show up at these negotiations, likely because it's in their interest. When you think back on it, what has happened here since the last negotiations? Well, on the Iranian side, and remind our audience, war is fundamentally a test of will, and you can see this will being played out right before our eyes in this war itself. Since the last negotiations, the Iranians have had the opportunity to ferment a little bit, come together further, get to see each other, solidify their leadership, and maybe enhance their will and determination as a result of that, as opposed to being buried in holes day in and day out and worried about their personal survival. The second thing that's happened to them is they clearly know how much damage has been done to them, and it's significant. On our side of it, and what the Iranians are counting on, is that the will of the American people in terms of their resolve puts pressure on the administration to end the war. And they focus on that. The political reality, the economic reality, that's what they're hoping on. But the big thing that's happened is President Trump's decision to put down the blockade. That is a seminal event that has taken place since those negotiations. And the impact on them, we have just stopped 80% of Iran's revenue sources through oil and through all of those cargo ships that are pushing through their exports. And that's what that cargo ship was all about that we just sequestered. The reality is that is a profound impact on this regime, and they can't withstand it. Let's face it, if that goes on and on for weeks or even months, this regime economically will collapse, and they know that. So it's not too surprising, Dana and Bill here, what are they doing? They're saying, well, we don't want to negotiate with you until you stop the blockade, because that is such a strategic blocking of their viability. This regime wants one thing, personal survival of these leaders and the regime to stay in power. And they know that economic blockade will absolutely challenge their ability to stay in power. And of course, if we have to return to combat operations and the president is threatening that, added to that, that would be quite significant as well. So regime survival is what this is about for them in these negotiations.
General, got about a minute left here. If these talks were to fall apart and these Iranian hardliners just don't allow a deal to happen, what do you think happens next? The president is obviously threatening to bomb bridges and power plants. Do you think he'll do it, and would that be a good idea?
Well, the president has told us what he's going to do. This much we do know. Our capacity to conduct strikes in the region has doubled since the start of the war. The Israelis have replenished all their magazine shortages in terms of weapons and munitions. We are full-throated here, ready to respond and take down the remaining offensive weapons that they have, which are ballistic missiles and launchers, as much as we can get. Some of them we're not going to get because they're so deeply buried. And also all of their infrastructure targets that contribute to this war effort. And the president is named two: bridges and energy infrastructure. And those are legitimate targets. Anybody that thinks that that's not a legitimate war target doesn't understand history and doesn't understand the rules of the law of war. That's the reality of it. The pressure on them as a result of returning to combat operations would be quite significant and quite dramatic.
Sir, can we keep you on speed dial this week?
You betcha.
Okay. Thank you, General
Thanks,
Keane.
General.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.